So let's solve question number 11, guys. Let's see what we have here. The correct match between item 1 starting material and item 2 reagent for preparation of benzaldehyde. So we are preparing benzaldehyde, okay? So what we have over here, benzene, benzonitrile, benzoyl chloride. Here we have HCl, SnCl2 and H3O+, H2, PDBaSO4 and quinoline, CO, HCl and AlCl3. Now looking at the list of item 2, what we get to know, we know that P is Stephen's reduction, Q is Rosenmund's reduction, and CO, HCl, AlCl3 is Gattermann-Koch reaction. Okay, so we know what are these reagents. Okay, we just have to look at the starting material, guys. We just have to look at the starting material. So if I'm starting from benzene and I want to convert it to benzaldehyde, okay, so starting from benzene, converting it to benzaldehyde. So what will I use over here? I will use Gattermann-Koch reaction. That is, I will add CO, HCl and AlCl3. So your first thing, that is benzene given over here, for conversion I'll react it with R. For converting to benzaldehyde I'll react it with R. Benzonitrile. So what is benzonitrile? Let's see. Benzonitrile is benzene connected to a cyanide. I want to convert this to benzaldehyde. How can I convert a cyanide to CHO? I can convert a cyanide to CHO by using Stephen's reduction. That is, I will use SnCl2 HCl and H3O plus. Okay, so that is your benzonitrile getting converted to benzaldehyde. Okay, benzoyl chloride, only option left is Q, so benzoyl chloride will undergo Rosenmund's reduction to give you benzaldehyde. So the answer is 1 is R, okay, 2 is P and 3 is Q. Okay, so answer is option 1, guys. Okay, so simple question. You should know all these name reactions and you will be able to solve this. Next question. For a reaction M plus O2 giving you M2O, the free energy change is plotted as a function of temperature. The temperature below which the oxide is stable could be inferred from the plot as the point at which. Be very careful while solving this. Okay, let us quickly go through the options. The free energy change shows a change from negative to positive value. The slope changes from positive to negative. The slope changes from negative to positive. The slope changes from positive to 0. Okay. Let us look at this graph, guys. Let us look at this graph. So if we are talking about this graph, so this is your x-axis, this is your y-axis. So the graph of del G against temperature, the graph of del G against temperature will look something like this, guys. Okay, now it is talking about, let us look at the question once again. The temperature below which the oxide is stable could be inferred from the plot as the point at which. So let's say this is your 0. This is your 0. And below this you have all negative values. Above this you have all positive values. So this point is the temperature, right? So above this, the oxide will be what? The oxide will be less stable. and below this, because the value of del G is negative, that's why your oxide will be what? Will be stable. So the answer to this question is the free energy change shows a change from negative to the positive value, right? So the answer is option 1, guys. Okay, it was a question from Alligam diagram, guys. If you know Alligam diagram, you will be able to solve this question. Okay, so let's see the next question, guys. That is question number 13. Okay, for the given cell Cu2 plus concentration C1, Cu2 plus concentration C2 and Cu. So this is a concentration cell. Change in Gibbs free energy del G is negative if. Okay, so we have to predict when will del G be negative. So for that, what I'll do is, for that I'll just write the equation over here. That is Cu2 plus on the left hand side, Cu2 plus on the right hand side. Here the concentration is C1 and here the concentration is C2, because the left hand side will undergo oxidation and the right hand side will undergo reduction. So if I write an equation for E cell, so your E cell would be what? E cell would be equal to E naught cell minus RT by NF ln C1 by C2. It's a concentration cell, so E naught cell will be 0, right? So E cell will be equal to minus RT by NF ln C1 by C2. So this can be written as E cell is equal to RT by NF ln C2 by C1. Your del G will be negative only if E cell is positive, and for E cell to be positive, your C2 should be greater than what? C2 should be greater than C1. So in which option do I have C2 greater than C1? Let's see. Okay, so C2 is root 2 times of C1, right? So isn't C2 greater than C1? Yes, it is. So the answer is option 1, guys. Okay, I hope you've understood this. I'll give this as a moderate question, because if you're not knowing concentration cell properly, you'll not be able to solve this question, guys. Okay, let us move on to question number 14.